Well, hello everybody. It's Pearl of Wisdom here, and you're listening to the NHL Pearl of Wisdom show. I'm going solo today. Solo. We got everybody's busy. Steele's doing Peyton's show. Peyton's got his own show coming. He's also got a show tonight with Hockey Writers Inc., which is pretty huge too. You might want to check that out on his on Steele's channel. So everybody's busy. It's just you guys and me today, which I don't mind. I like that stuff. It's fun. What we're gonna be talking about now is, as it says in the title, but I actually I'm going to talk about even more than that. But it's what happened to the Bruins and what now for the Bruins. What now for the Bruins? I mean, I don't know. I think they're probably going to stay the course myself. They didn't let Char and Krug go to just start bringing veterans in on their defense. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Hey, Yoshi, how you doing? I seriously don't know what they're going to do. They may add a defenseman, but it's probably going to be like not a stupendously big contract or anything like that. I think they need some more veteran leadership and they need some more depth. I think the kids were not ready, and yeah, I know that was a devastating. I had Zachary in that, and she didn't. The ninja, so I call her the ninja. I had Zachary on because she looks like she could just kick some serious butt, right? Do they have to fix their defense? Sports geeks. Yeah, I don't think he'll retire, probably. Rask is making all the noises like he's going to retire. We'll see. Rask is making all the noises that he's going to retire. They got the kid there, Swayman. They'll go get another veteran backup for him. I don't even think that's really all that big of a deal for them. He may go back, maybe play in Europe or something like that, but Creeks choke except Sampras. Yeah, that's true, actually. You got a good point there. Rask is going to Seattle. I don't think so. We'll see. He could be just talking out of his butt, saying that if he gets, maybe he just doesn't want to get retired. He's a different dude, so you never know. He's a different dude. There's no doubt about that. By the way, if you're in here, don't be afraid to hit the like button if you like it. Help get a lot more people in here. I guess the real big news, and I'm going to bring it up here. Yeah, they're not going to resign Hyman. I kind of don't blame them. They can probably find another Hyman-like guy for less than what Hyman's going to get. They've been playing Zach Hyman on the top line now for quite a long time. When is Zach Hyman going to get a chance to play with Matthews and Nylander and Marner and stuff like that? Where else is he? He's never going to put up those numbers somewhere else, I don't think. So, unless he signs with the Oilers, but I don't think they're going to sign him to any $5 million contract. I think Zach Hyman might be a little disappointed. Unless he takes the money and he goes to, I don't know, some team out there might give him $5 million, but I don't think it'll be anybody that's paying people already a lot of money. So he's probably going to have to go to like Columbus or, some Anaheim, those lower end teams that have lots of cap room to get the $5 million or $6 million he's looking for. I could be wrong, but I think that's pretty likely. Yeah, I don't know why they'd want to re-sign Bogosian unless it's like, no, they're both like Spezza's 700,000, Bogosian maybe $1 million. By the way, this is Yoshi, everybody. Get some, I haven't seen Yoshi in a while, so get some hype in the chat for Yoshi. Uh, Rask said he couldn't comment on that right now. I think Rask has some family issues. I think he might just call it a career. I could be wrong, but he's had injury issues. I heard something. Did you guys? I just heard this on Sirius Radio that he said before the game that he didn't think he was really good to go, and they told him to go anyways. Did you hear about that? Let me see if I can find that. Okay, let's see what he said here. He declines this season over. What was the injury? How severe was it? The 30-year-old declined questions about his health and future Wednesday. Season's ending loss. I don't really want to talk about the injury. We're going to release an injury report in a couple of days and have exit meetings. We can talk about it then. I promise I'll have your full load then. I don't think that needs to be a headline now. Well, you just made it a headline. Are you kidding me? Rask, who is an unrestricted free agent, said he wanted more time to digest the season and just finished before making any decisions and comments about his future. Okay. Well, I'm not going to judge the guy because after losing a big game like that, it's pretty tough to talk to people. All you care about right now is that you lost and it sucks, and maybe you're not in the right emotional place to be making statements like that. So I'll give him rope on that one. Rask also said if he thinks about getting another surgery done, he thinks he gets another year in the league. His last surgery didn't go well. Oh. But hey, I want to shout out to anybody new in here, or it doesn't matter new. Bill T was calling for Rask to not be playing like the second game in. And I was like, they're probably going to play him again and all that stuff. But you were right, dude. They should have went with Swayman. There's obviously some injury issues going on here that have been going on the whole series. I don't think you're going to kill the Swayman kid. I don't know. I'm not a goaltender specialist, so, it can really screw with the kid's head when you put him in the playoffs if he doesn't succeed, I suppose. But so far be it for me to say, but I do think you're right. Swayman was at least the better goaltender at that time. If he's really, because there were some plays there I saw, he couldn't even hardly get up after he went down. Like he looked like he was really feeling a lot of pain. They wanted to give Fleury a break. Maybe Fleury said he thought it might be best that he did get a break. I'm not sure. I don't think Lehner's going to get another chance again. And I think Lehner's probably going to be the one that, if they can find a way to do so, will be traded in the offseason. I think they're keeping Fleury. Yeah, I'm all over Vegas tonight, man. I love that team. I love them. I picked them to win the cup, and I'm sticking with it. It was one of the few things I got possibly correct, but I took them to beat Colorado. I like Colorado. They're just a little too green, and from now on, I'm going to remember that in playoffs. If a team is really green, and what I mean by that, if they're really young and they don't have much playoff experience. Talent doesn't get you there in the playoffs, really. You gotta have a lot of components. Tampa Bay has them. They went out and got them. Tampa Bay lost to Columbus that first year, and they realized that they needed some warriors on their team, and they went and got them. And they needed that warrior mentality to rub off on the rest of the team, and they went and got them, and there you go. They got Goudreau, they got Maroon, and Coleman. Now, those two guys, Coleman and Maroon, are up for free agency this year. So if I'm a team, I'm lining up for those guys, man. I want those guys on my team. Yeah, the thing is it's always with Lehner. I mean, if he can get his head straight, the guy is a fantastic. His physical skill as a goaltender is second to none. He's huge. He's fast. His reflexes are insane. His positioning is spectacular. But he lets things get to his head, and then it all falls apart. Like it's really just for him. It's a head game, and I'm not making fun of him here because you have he in the Islanders he had depression issues or whatever, all those kind of issues, and maybe they're still lingering there or whatever. And I'd root for the guy, but I mean the fact of the matter is he went from Ottawa to Buffalo. Things went really bad in Buffalo in the room from what I've heard. I've read a whole bunch of things about him being a problem in the room in Buffalo. And then this came out that he had some depression issues. He went and got some help, and that's great. But he goes to the Islanders, and the Islanders have a choice. They can take. He puts up good numbers in the Isle, New York. They have a choice. They can take him for this $5 million, or they can go with Varlamov for $5 million. And they end up going with Varlamov. Now, Projo, who I really recommend you go check out, Professor Joe Bork. In fact, we just did a video together on the Toronto Maple Leafs. You might want to check that out. He brought up a good point that Varlamov is Russian, and they had that Sorokin kid coming in, and they thought that it would work better with the two Russians, possibly. But then Lehner goes to Chicago for 1 year, and he doesn't even last a year there, and they're sending him off. Now, on that same note there, they had this Lankinen kid that they were really high on. So, maybe it's all coincidental, but things are these are red flags, really, for me. They're red flags for general managers, too. Yeah, he's making $5 million a year. Maybe they can work out a deal where they send Koskinen there and some picks to get Lehner. As long as he can be all right in the room and all that, I mean, I would love to have Lehner in Edmonton for sure. No doubt about that. It's just there's some red flags there I'd be a little bit concerned about. And he's on a long-term deal. And if it happens again where things aren't working out, his trade value just plummets right down after that. If he doesn't work out wherever he goes next time, his trade value is going to go down. No matter how good of a goaltender is, his trade value is going to go down. Do I think Frederik Andersen? It's all going to depend on that injury stuff, right, Yoshi? The question is, do I think Frederik Andersen might go to Edmonton or Seattle? I could see Seattle giving him a shot. They would have a lot of time to give him to make sure that he's not injured and all that stuff like that. Seattle would make sense. And the thing about that is they could work out that deal after the expansion draft, so he doesn't have to be the pick. Or they could work out a deal where they go to Toronto and say, okay, we'll take Andersen, but give us some players so we get two players from you. Like, say, Kerfoot and Andersen or something like that. I think they're going to break away from Kerfoot anyways. Kerfoot, to me, seems like a prime candidate to go to Seattle. He's got they're going to need some offensive guys. He's not a terrible player, but he's not great. They could try him in the top 6. I think he's way too perimeter for that. I wouldn't want him myself, but. Yeah, well, I mean, I think the Jets really, the problem there is they need some defense there. Just like the Bruins need defense. The Bruins got to go get some defense. They need to get a veteran like Hjalmarsson out of, that would be a really good one. Hjalmarsson out of Arizona. We just did a "Where's Everybody Gonna Go" segment here on Monday in the free agency segment, and that was a lot of fun. I think, well, I mean, not having Scheifele is definitely huge. I don't think, I think most of the players on the Jets team do not believe that, don't think Scheifele deserved that penalty. So I don't think it had anything to do with that. Yeah, for sure. Not having your number one center is going to be a major problem. You take in Montreal, like say Suzuki, take Suzuki out, and what do they do against Toronto? You know, maybe the Jets have a chance. Scheifele stays and Suzuki's out. You take the number one center off of anyone's team. Even look at Toronto when they lost Tavares. I mean, that was a big blow, huge blow, and he's not even their number one center. If you were to take Matthews out, if you go Vegas, maybe, I mean, they're already low. Like, you take Carlson off of Vegas, and they're in trouble because they don't really have all that much for centerman to begin with. Colorado, McKinnon. Take McKinnon out of that series, and they're done. So, yeah, I would say you lose your number one center, and it's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult, for sure. So anyways, I wanted to get into, we talked about Boston. They need defense. We can talk about whatever you want. I'm by myself. So you guys push the conversation. What do you want to talk about? We'll just fly with it. The Lightning versus the Islanders. How do you not pick the Islanders? I mean, does it make sense that the Islanders win that series? No. Could they? Yeah. I mean, they can beat anybody, let's face it. On paper, they shouldn't be winning these series, but they likely will. But I think Tampa, I got to take Tampa, though. Tampa's just a little much. CO! Welcome, buddy. Okay, let's look at the score in that game was, what, 6-2, right? Nobody had 6-2. Nobody had 6-2. Nobody had close to 6-2. The closest was JP at 4-3. No, he had Bruins. Oh, no, Mercer again. Mercer. Wow, 5-3. Mercer had 5-3. Well done, sir. Well done. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Marner there. I think he'll be fine, but he's so far in his career, he seems to crumble in the playoffs, and that's not a good thing when you're paying a guy $11 million a year. I said that they could fix a lot of problems. I did a trade Marner. I did a trade Marner one. I might do another one here again. I might do another trade Marner video to a few teams. I had him going to Detroit. Go check it out, the video on that. I think there's lots of teams out there that would take a chance on him, even though he's had some playoff woes. He's still a very young guy. But it takes a while to learn what it takes to win in the playoffs. I mean, it's not a perimeter game in the playoffs. You can't play in the perimeter. That's for sure. Barry Trotz is a genius. There's absolutely no doubt about that, Bill T. Oh, there's lots of people that would take him. I did in the video. I mentioned Detroit, LA. I think LA would be big on that. They need some wingers out there in LA. Not to mention, you could give a little bit back, you know, but they've got the cap room to do some damage. And LA actually said that that the big part of or the rebuild is over. So I don't know. I think they still could use a lot of youth there, but they don't seem to think so. I think they're going to be out in the free agency pool this year and making trades, and they want to be good now apparently. So I could see Marner being a guy that they Ducks. Yeah, I mean that's a possibility too. I don't know who they would trade, but I think the Ducks do have the cap room. I think if they trade Marner, it's going to be, they want to get rid of the full cap. So there's only a few teams that are able to do that. Anaheim's one. Ottawa would be able to, but I don't think they would be on that trade. Like I said, Detroit, New Jersey, but I don't think they're looking to add defensemen, not forwards. And Toronto is going to want to add to their defense too, so they could be looking for guys like that. But yeah, check out the video. I get very specific about it. Yeah, the Leafs are going to add some new players to their team. The question is just going to, I don't, I mean, if I'm them, I'd like to get Foligno, but I don't know if they could afford Foligno because Foligno is a pretty special kind of player. He's a playoff type player. And I think there's going to be a lot of people on the phone for Foligno out there. He'll probably get a number that people are going to be like, really? That much? Like, I really think he's going to get a high number. When you see guys like Corey Perry, Palmieri, some of those warrior type guys like Foligno on these teams that keep on making it over and over and over again, you're going to see players looking for guys like that. By the way, remember to hit the like button out there. Try to get that likes up. Let's get as many people in here as we possibly can. Yeah. So Simmons does want to stay in Toronto. I'm just not sure that they're going to re-sign him. His family, he's got a child that lives there in Toronto. He's not together with his mom or whatever. And he went to Buffalo for that reason. When he was in Philadelphia, he okayed the trade to go to Buffalo because it was closer. And then when he had a chance to go to Toronto, he was all over it. I think he's going to have to take league minimum to stay in Toronto. So it's going to be what he values. Yeah, we're going to talk about that too, about Eichel. I was going to bring that up I was going to bring that right up here on the background. I'm going to put my window capture up. And we'll take a look at some Eichel stuff here because I did some videos on Eichel too. You really want to check those out. But in the videos, I said that I found it very highly unlikely that they would trade Eichel without the surgery yet. I thought they would wait to see for him to be healthy and all that stuff like that. Now, first of all, I'll say this here. This is on, let me just look it up, Pro Hockey Rumors here. I'll bring it up here. Okay, latest on Jack Eichel, okay. I am going to bring this up on my window capture. Okay. Okay, you guys see that now? Oh, okay, I'm going to make sure you can see it really well. I'm going to move it down here. Okay, this is the latest. This is on Hockey News report, or Hockey News, Hockey Rumors is what it's called, and Pro Hockey Rumors, and it's a pretty solid publication. I read it all the time. They usually are very accurate, and it's also Elliott Freeman. So the Buffalo Sabres and Jack Eichel appear to be headed towards a split. Even though things have quieted down since the team's year-end media availability, at that point, Eichel was telling reporters there was a disconnect between the camp and Kevin Adams' front office regarding his neck injury. Okay. That's the poker game we're playing right now. Other teams are saying you got an unhappy player who doesn't want to come back, and the Sabres are really think at the end of the day want to move on. They don't want him back. Apparently, who said this? Yeah, Elliott Freeman said this on WGR 550. Said the player doesn't want to come back, and the Sabres are really at the end of the day want to move on too. They want to move. They want him. They don't want him back. They want to move on. Teams are going to play Buffalo's desperation at that. The Sabres have to play a game that says, okay, you guys can play that game, but somebody is going to get them. If you play it cool or you play too hard line, it won't be you. So there you go. Did you guys see all that? He's saying that Eichel's good is gone, pretty much. Eichel's out of here. And I thought it was going to be before. I thought it wouldn't be before he went and got surgery and all that kind of stuff like that. And as it turns out, it might be before that. Now, there's also more in the piece where they talk about his doctors say that the surgery will put him perfect. He'll be fine. So any other team now that is looking at Eichel have got to have their doctors go, you know what, I agree. I think he's going to be fine. And these doctors better be right, because I think you'd have a lawsuit on your hand. So Buffalo's doesn't want him back. Like, they're at their end of the rope with whatever the problem is with Eichel. Maybe they just think the surgery is a really bad idea and they don't want to put their money on that surgery. So anyways, it looks like he's gone sooner than later. And I did some videos on that. Some places that you may look at him going to is like, well, Columbus is trading Jones for sure. Would Jones be happy signing in Buffalo? I'm not sure. Who would be, really? But if he is, there's something to look at. They got to get more than Jones, though. So they got to get a bidding war going. And here we have, what an organization. You've got a generational player like Eichel, and you did absolute nothing for, almost a decade now, and now you're going to leave that? Rasmus Ristolainen. I should know that right off the top of my head. I've looked at it so many times, but we'll look it up. Rasmus Ristolainen's making 5-4 for the next 2 years. And he looks like he's out for sure, too. He's a right defenseman. He's a right-handed defenseman. Why do you say Cam Atkinson traded? But Columbus makes sense. You could have Jones and some additional players go there for Eichel, maybe their first-round draft pick this year or something like that. And then they have a player they can rebuild around. Sign Lionel, and then go out and sign another defenseman to replace Jones. And as long as Eichel's surgery is fine, they come out looking way better than they did this year. I don't think Columbus really can afford to do a rip-down rebuild. So, It might be the best option for them to go with a guy like that. Jack Campbell did amazing in the season when he got 11 straight wins, broke the streak against Montreal, but kept very well in the playoffs. I still think they're going to have to find an upgrading goal. Yeah, Ristolainen has said he wanted out of Buffalo now for 3 years in a row, so I'm pretty sure he's going to be out of Buffalo. Sandin will be fine. He's just a kid. He's only 21 years old. Sandin's going to be fine, but he's a kid. Dermott, I agree. Dermott's got to go. They need to do something with their defense for sure. I just did a thing again. I just did another one on trading Riley. That was Joe and I. We talked about it. And they're wanting Riley out in Toronto. The fans are, anyways. I'm not saying the management does, because he's going to be up for another salary. And there's people there. They're just not very happy with him there, apparently. I mean, I don't think he's a Norris guy, but depending on what he wants, I mean, I don't know what you're going to get for him either. So you got to get another guy to replace him in the trade. Maybe Jones. You know, you trade Riley for Jones because Jones wants out. You might be getting the better player there. If you ask Peyton on the radio, analytically he'll say no. I watched Jones for the last 2 years. John Mo Lead, thank you very much for appreciating my bow tie. Yeah, I just keep Sandin. Just you got to take it easy with them. Toronto's gonna be one of the most interesting teams out there to see what they decide to do moving forward. He did okay. I mean, give him $1 million and you can throw him on for depth. I don't think Dahlin gets traded. I think that's one guy that stays. But let's say they go get Jones. Jones is going to demand about $8 million a year after next year. They draft Power, who I believe is a lefty. They keep Dahlin. They keep let me bring up Buffalo here. They're going to be very interesting too, obviously, the Buffalo Sabres. Buffalo Sabres, there we go. They keep Jokiharju. Dahlin's a lefty. Ristolainen's a righty. They lose Ristolainen. They get Jones, who I believe is a righty. So it'd be Jones, Dahlin, Jokiharju, Power made way. Then you're looking to add another defenseman. Oh, they have that one kid that played really well. That R2 Ruotsalainen. No, that was a center left winger. What was his name? Played really well. I'll look. He looks like he'll be playing full time next year. Rasmus Ristolainen. Where the heck is he? Jeez, I can't even find him on the roster anymore. Oh, Jake McCabe is a free agent too. Yeah, Jake McCabe. I can't find that defenseman to save my life. I don't know. Did they loan him to the minors? I don't know. Somebody help me out here. Who the heck was that guy? It wasn't R2 Ruotsalainen. He played well, but it was another Finnish kid. Oh, it was Matthias Samuelsson. That's it. It wasn't Finnish. It was he was American. Shoot, he looked really good. But you got Jones. Then you build from there, and then I don't know. hopefully you can sign Sam Reinhart, but he looked pretty choked on his way out too. So there's going to be a lot of stuff going on in Buffalo. I think Foligno's going to Minnesota to play with his brother. That's my bet. My bet that Foligno goes to Minnesota to play with his brother. Having two Folignos on your team would be freaking awesome. I would definitely. If I'm any team out there, I'm offering up Foligno a contract. Foligno can play on any. Foligno can be good, useful on any team. So. I think the Leafs are going to totally, who knows? They're going to have a grab bag of different players that come in. I just have this feeling that they're going to trade Marner. I just have this feeling that they're going to trade Marner for depth. But then on the other hand, they may stick with the plan and just keep him and then hope over the long term they get more cap space and they keep on adding. But it's really difficult to say what Toronto's going to do. Why did you say Neil Young, Devondra? What was that about? I'm looking up here because I've been talking to Yoshi a lot. I don't think, I don't think he's going to trade Dahlin. I don't think so. But, I mean, what a huge task for Adams for that Buffalo team. I don't think Joe Thornton will be back. I wouldn't have had him back this year. I just didn't think he was the right guy. No, they're not trading Matthews. Marner maybe. Marner a winger for some depth and defenseman possibly. But that's going to be a whole change of philosophy because the whole start for Toronto was that they were going to keep on just letting the cap build up. That was the biggest problem with Toronto. It's not even really their fault. If COVID didn't happen, they would have had more space to bring in players to fill other roles and stuff like that. Yeah. Then But Boston, what's Boston going to do now? That's going to be the interesting question. I have a feeling they're going to grab a few vets and then just keep on letting these young defensemen grow into it. But they're in a weird spot now because Bergeron and Marchand aren't getting any younger. Krejci, of course, is a free agent. They'll have to re-sign him for maybe half the money. Are they going to bring Paul back in Boston? That'll be an interesting story. I don't think I trade Nylander. I love that contract. He's making $7 million. He looks like he could be a 90-point guy. Nylander would. When they gave him that contract, people were all upset, and I'm like, that's a great contract. What are you talking about? They're really hard on kids there in Toronto. Like, if you're not good right away, they are all over you. Like they're trading Riley all day. The fans in Toronto want Riley gone, and I don't know what they think they're going to get back, but well, I think if David. I don't think Krejci. I think they're going to re-sign Krejci. He's a lifer. They can sign him for half. And then Taylor Hall, he's not getting if he thinks he's getting $8 million, forget about it. He's got to sign for less to stay in Boston. So we'll see if Taylor Hall is really all about the money or if he's all about being on a team that's a cup contender because This is a cup contender. For shave off $1 million off, like say 5 million, maybe 5 million, maybe 5.5 for 4 or 5 years, and you can probably stay in Boston. Because I believe Krejci was making 7 or something like that. They'll give him 3.5 for a couple of years, actually maybe 4 for 2 years or whatever, and they could possibly fit them both in under the cap. But if Hyman goes, they're going to try to get somebody like Coleman or something like that, who is basically the same as Hyman. And they could probably get him for cheaper than Hyman's going to get. Hyman's able to go out there on the market and say, you know what, I was a first-line left winger. I scored this many points and blah, 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 blah. And there's probably some general manager that's foolish enough to think that, like the Calgary Flames. You know, somebody like that will give him $5 million a year. The truth is, Hyman's a great, for what he is, he's a good utility guy that can put up some decent numbers if you play him with like really good players. But he's not a first-line winger at all. Not at all. But somebody's going to overpay for Hyman. No doubt about it. Jack Campbell's making 1.6 for 1 more year, I believe. Without looking it up, I think that's where he's at. So Carlo's essential. They got to have Carlo. Lazan will have 1 more year. Lazan, I really like Lazan. Let's bring up Boston because we're going to talk about Boston. I have it right in the title, so let's talk some Boston. Let's talk about what Boston might do in this offseason. We'll get right into brass tacks here. We'll get right down deep into the Boston Bruins. Boston Bruins. Okay, depth chart. Of course, you got Marchand's 33, so he's still got a couple years left. Bergeron's getting up there, but he'll probably be a beast for another 2 years at least. Pasternak is only 25, of course, but he's going to need another contract in 2023. Jake DeBrusk, I think they'll probably try to trade him, especially if they're going to get Hall to play there. Why do they not have because he's a UFA. They're going to re-sign Hall, re-sign Taylor Hall, maybe, if they can. If they re-sign Hall, re-sign Krejci for a lower contract. Let's not look at the depth chart. Let's look at they still got Nick Ritchie. He's an RFA. He's not going to command too much more. Yeah, Lazar. Will they have a chance? Jeremy Lauzon, it will be 25. It'd still be like what, his 3rd year in the league or 4th? This was really that's just right. This was really his first real year in the league. So he's got like a half a year under his belt. He'll probably be a lot better. The question's going to be, can Jacob Zaboral be that 5'6" guy? Is Connor Clifton what you want there? They've been really, Vakanainen is coming up. Look, when's he going to be ready? But if they can get Hall, you're going to be going up against what? Toronto, Tampa Bay. They should be able to get in the top 4. But it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy for sure. Hey, E, how you doing, buddy? Thanks for coming in, man. No. No, CL. Flyers are not sticking with Elliott as a backup. If they do, that would be absolutely ridiculous. I'm thinking it's going to be interesting. First, we got to, one of the biggest things about, we were just talking about Buffalo before we got started here. One of the biggest things about this year is who wants to stay in Buffalo. Allmark is an unrestricted free agent. Toronto could really look at a guy like that. He's 28 years old. They have been bringing him along. They looked actually pretty good when Allmark was in. He wouldn't cost a terrible lot of money, but he could like work as a platoon with Campbell. The thing with me is I don't like platoons. People say, you know, the league's going to to a platoon system where I'm not a big fan of that. If you need a number one goaltender, like outright, if you want a platoon and you want to play him a little less, fine. But you got to have your outright number one. And the question with Allmark is, what do you like? Do you want that in the playoffs? Personally, if it's me, if I'm any team out there and I have any thought of goaltending, I'm hoping that Fleury's available. I mean, we were just talking about Lehner. I'm looking for a true number one. That's my first thing I'm doing no matter what. Pretty much. If I'm a team, if I don't have a true number one, I want a true number one, and I'm willing to pay for it. They prove it over and over and over again. People say, well, you know, you don't want to pay, you pay for goaltending last, or you look for goaltending last. If you got to have goaltending. Varlamov, New York Islanders. Vasilevsky, Tampa Bay Lightning. Carey Price, Montreal. Even though they went out early, Hellebuck, Fleury, Grubauer is up for a Vezina this year. All of them are in the playoffs now. You got to have a number one goaltender. Campbell ain't going to do it. Hey, Hockey News Reports. How you doing, buddy? Yeah, Rask, I don't know. He said that he won't leave Boston or he'll retire. He has said that with his mouth. We'll see if that's true or not. I don't know, but. And really, what is there out there for goaltenders? There's not much. Short of like Bernier, but Detroit seems to want to keep him. So, I mean, Holtby isn't going to move the meter all that much. I don't know. It's going to be difficult for Toronto to find a goaltender. I think at this point, I think they really got to hope Anderson can be healthy or something like that. I don't know. KHL? Where does Rittich go? The KHL, maybe? Maybe he goes to Seattle as their third, and they get some really good goaltender coaches that can help that guy deal with stress. Rittich can't deal with stress. It was like when they picked him up to go to Toronto, I'm like, that's going to be a tire fire. Rittich can't handle that kind of media stuff like that. He needs to go to like Carolina or, you know, some place where where nobody puts any pressure on you or anything like that. As soon as he's in a high pressure situation, Rittich is garbage. Seriously, I hate to say it, but it's true. I don't know if they want to pay. They got Swayman there. Why would you? I don't think so. I wouldn't want any of my young goaltenders around Robin Lehner. I'm just a little concerned about that guy in the room and how he just seems to be a loose cannon. That's the word I'm trying to figure out, is a loose cannon. Price is blowing me away this year. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But you got to have that guy. So if I'm Toronto, that's what I'm looking for. If you think Georgiev in New York is that, I mean, they're going to have to trade him away. I'm not so sure about that. But no, but they can find one. See, that's not a bad idea. You got a hotshot kid like Swayman that looks like he's going to be off the charts, your number one. Then you can go out and get like a platoon type guy. I don't think Boston's going to have much of a problem getting a goaltender out there. There's a lot of goaltenders that, because of the expansion draft, they could go out and try to get a Georgiev from the New York Rangers. Give up a second for him. They could bring back Hudobin, maybe. Bring back Hudobin, Boston. But Hudobin's making quite a bit, and they do have a little cap issues there. They could go Allen for Montreal. He played all right. Somebody like that. Maybe even Quick in LA, although he's pretty much had it. He's got a pretty big contract. But I think they'll find somebody out there to play with. I don't think that's that big of a deal. Assuming that Rask isn't back, of course. We don't even know that yet. So Georgiev, I would have to think he's gone unless they do something like, unless they want to keep him so bad that they offer 2 players to Seattle to not touch him or something like that. I think they don't like to pay that much for goaltenders. That's a problem, especially for a guy who's pretty much a backup. They had Vladar. There's that. I'm not so sure Vladar is the answer there. He was okay. I think they'll keep him as a third. What's not happening? Hockey News reports. Quick, yeah. Giroux to Ottawa. Giroux is from the area. I think that's where that comes from. Wow. I'd have to really think about that. If they were going to take Giroux, it'd be sort of like wanting to get Stepan. They want that leadership. They want some leadership there. Whose place would he be taking? Let me bring up Ottawa. That's pretty interesting. Ottawa. They also have an internal cap, and he's making quite a bit of money. How many years and how much is Giroux? I just think it's a bad move from Philadelphia. Giroux's been playing. Giroux has not been the problem in Philadelphia, for sure. What are they going to get? Colin White, maybe? Making $4.5 million and not really putting up the hugest numbers. What are you going to get back in that deal? Colin White. Oh, Zaitsev, maybe. You might be able to get Zaitsev and Colin White. I know they're not like totally gung-ho for Zaitsev. They got some young guys coming up that could play his role. So Zaitsev and Colin White for Giroux, something like that. That would almost be dollar for dollar in a trade, and they would have a veteran there. Possible. Not to mention Ottawa likes to take guys that are from the area, so they're happy and they want to stay there. Oh yeah, they're keeping Nedeljkovic for sure. When is Nedeljkovic got a contract coming up? When's Nedeljkovic's contract coming up? Oh, he's a restricted free agent. Yeah, they'll sign him to a bridge deal. Probably like $3 million bridge deal. 2-3 years for $3 million or something like that. He's 25. Yeah, that would take him to free agency. They might be smart to sign him to like $5 million for 6 or 7 years. If they can do that, might not be a bad idea, because 2 years from now when he's a free agent, he's probably going to garner a heck of a lot more than that. If they could get him for $5 million right now, that would be a smart move, I would say. I would think. Well, you can love it there all you want. I don't know. He might stay. He won't get much Byron anyways. He's been injured too often. So he's not going to get much on the market. Yeah, I don't see that. If they were to do that, then I mean basically they're chiming in a rebuild in Philadelphia if they make that trade, I would think. I think they would be pretty much bringing in a rebuild then. So not likely. It just doesn't seem likely to me that they're going to take an $8 million a year. I think that's what he's making. Isn't he making $8 million in Philly? $8.275 for 2 more years, though. It's only for 2 more years. I'd just keep him. He's your captain. Yeah, I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. Unless they want to rebuild, or if they want to do something like get Jack Eichel. If they want to do something like get Jack Eichel, they could trade Giroux, clear that cap space, and then, but I mean, what are they going to give up to get Eichel? Like I said, I did a Eichel traded to everybody videos, and Philadelphia wasn't in the ballpark to get Eichel. So I think to get Eichel, they're going to have to trade like York, guys like Konechny or something like that, and first round picks, and it's going to be quite. And you better be prepared to think it's okay for his injury is okay. Yeah, I don't think Giroux's asking for a trade. No. I think he ends up staying there, I would say. Tampa beats Isles in 6. Yeah, who knows? I'm leaning Tampa too, but nothing surprised me about the Islanders. For sure. I think I want the Islanders to win. I want the Islanders to win, yeah. But I'm not sure. On paper, which doesn't mean nothing, we've seen that over and over again. It's Tampa Bay should win that fairly easily, but we don't play the game on paper, we play the game on ice. Everybody's taking off before break here, so maybe we'll hit an early break. And I'll be back here in 2 shakes of a whatever's tail. Get your puppies out. They're already probably ready. Go get them. It's early, so they probably haven't showed up yet. I think I'm going to go over to our 2 o'clock, and then we'll look at the game tonight and all kinds of fun frolic here at Pearls of Wisdom Industries. There will be frolic.
Greetings. This is Steel Flyers from the Steel Flyers All Sports Network, and we have 2 very special guests. We are delighted to be joined by Tracy Musser and Nicole Howard from the Canine Country Club Resorts. Tracy and Nicole are both managers for CCC Resorts and work at the Windsor or at the club, one of 2 locations both in Manheim, Pennsylvania. Congratulations on your 30th year anniversary of being in business. Let me start off by saying this. Steel Flyer stands behind this company 100%. Taken care of Steel Flyer's furry friend for the last 2 years now, and they are a one-stop shop for everything your furry friend needs. In fact, let's find out what our friends at CCC Resorts offer. Nicole, how are you today?
Good. How are you?
Doing great, thank you. What are some of the great boarding services that you guys offer, and what do we have to do in order to get our furry friends taken care of when we are unable to travel with them?
Well, we like to bring everybody in for a tour first. That way they can see the behind the scenes, they can see where they stay, they can see where they play, and then we explain all of the fun things that we can add on to their reservation, whether it be one of our packages, either a nature walk, a ball time, or even a cuddle time.
Oh, wow, that sounds great. Boy, it sure sounds like a resort to me. So how are you today, Tracy?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Tracy, tell me, is it true that you guys have both an indoor and an outdoor pool at the Windsor location?
It is true. We've got one of each, so we're able to offer year-round swimming. The indoor pool is a great option for dogs who are swimming for therapy or rehab. It's got that sloped entry so they can wade into the water. Our outdoor pool is a little bit larger, and it's 4 foot deep the whole way across. And both of them are saltwater pools, so it's really easy on the dog's skin and coat.
Wow, that's very awesome. So then during the summer months, you have a much deeper pool outside and then a sloped entry shallow pool indoors for the dogs. Tracy, tell the folks how we can get some pool time.
Well, the first thing everyone does is come for an intro swim. We use that time to make sure the dog is comfortable in the water. We make sure they know how to get out of the pool safely, and we go over all the pool rules and etiquette with the clients as well. After that, they're able to schedule private appointments where they have the pool to themselves, or they can invite friends and have a whole group swim going on.
So after a dip in the pool, then it would have to be off to the groomers, right? I mean, our furry friends cannot go out looking their best. Nicole, what are some of the great services your top-notch groomers provide?
Our groomers, they specialize in full service grooms. We can do the basics, whether it be just a bath and a brush out or a blowout. Or for the extra pampered pooches, we can do nail dremels, we can do deodorizing soaks, and also facials.
Wow, man, that sounds like a resort if you ask me. Tracy, I know one of the main programs here at CCC Resorts is the WAGS program. The Steel Flyers dog is enrolled in this program. So why don't you tell the folks what is involved in this and how they can get enrolled?
Yeah, the WAGS program is our primary daycare option at the Windsor. It's designed to be a structured program for people who are looking for a set routine for their dog. They all come on the same days each week, which allows them to have set friends, and we know exactly what's going on with each group. So we do a little bit more activities, and we build more into their daily routine there. But we've got other daycare options as well for people looking for a little less commitment. We do an hourly care where you can drop them off and just pay by the hour. We also do a day stay option, which is great for the dogs that prefer human friends instead of making friends with other dogs. And then we have a traditional daycare option as well if you're looking for the occasional outing for your dog.
Wow, there you have it. A full service groomer, a daycare program, and an indoor and outdoor pool. What more could you ask for? Sure seems like CCC Resorts has everything covered. Remember, DOG, depend on God.
Hello, we are back again in the house. All right. Good times. Welcome back, everybody. We're going to get into our picks for tonight's game. Let me get you up here on the screen. Let's see. Remember to like it if you like it. If you don't like it, that's okay. Hit the don't like too. We don't mind don't likers. It's okay. It's fine. There we go. Kyle Mercer. Yay! Made it in time for picks. It's pick time, pick time, pick time, pick time. Pro dance in the land. Pro dance in the land. Kyle Mercer came in Perlo dancing right out of the get-go. Look at that. Look at you, Kyle. Woo! Dropping the Perlo dance like nobody's business. Yeah. Yeah, Bruins injuries. Yeah, that Carlo would just they couldn't get past the Carlo. They got to get some more. They got to get some more defense in there in Boston for sure. Those kids need a little help. It's actually snowing. Oh my gosh. Wow, we get that in Alberta. We had it in May. We got rain. It's been rainy the last couple of days here. For us, that's like it's usually not rainy here. I don't know about Mikhaev. There's going to be a whole bunch of interesting stuff going there in Toronto. I'm going to be fascinated by what Toronto does this year in the offseason. Philadelphia Flyers, Toronto Maple Leafs, and the Buffalo Sabres, and maybe the Edmonton Oilers, and the LA Kings. There's tons. And the Columbus Blue Jackets. Like, there's going to be a lot of stuff going on this off season. Like, there'll be no worry. Like, we'll be doing this show all summer, and we'll have tons of stuff to talk about. I am sure of it. Okay, let's get into our game tonight. Woo! Game tonight. All right. Here we go. Bring it up on the board. Avalanche versus Golden Knights, and I will be doing this with the man, the legend, the GOAT tonight. I'll be doing it with the GOAT tonight. Avalanches versus the Golden Knights in Vegas. Grubauer and Fleury, of course. Injury reports. Is there any new? I haven't heard anything new about any injuries going on with either one of these teams. Colorado. Kadri. Is Kadri back tonight? That'll help out a bit, maybe. Vegas. Krebs. Is Krebs going to be back? Skated on his own Thursday morning. Maybe Krebs, he had a full face shield on. But besides that, Las Vegas is fully healthy. So, what do we got? Avalanche and Golden Knights. Let's get her done. Ottawa Senators could be very busy in the offseason. John Weichel, you are absolutely right. No, Rittich is gone. He might go to the KHL. Like, I don't know. He'll be a third. He'll be lucky to get league minimum this year. Mercer is taking 4-3 Avalanche. It's going to be a barn burner, man. Weichel, yeah, buddy, taking Vegas. 4-3 Vegas. Van Hook has got the Avs. 4-2 Avs. It could go either way. This is going to be a barn burner game. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be so much fun. It's raining here, so my wife can't even get me to go out anywhere. I'm going to come in. I'm going to throw some critter on the grill real quick, flip it around a couple times, throw it on a plate, eat her, and get at her. This game is going to be amazing. Yeah. I know. I'm telling you right now, I got Vegas winning 4 games in a row. Perlo. I like the 4-3 though. I really like the 4-3 Vegas. Somebody already said it, but I don't usually do this, but I really like 4-3 Vegas. I just think that they got the grind, man. Vegas just has that way to find a way to win. It's epic if they beat Avalanche. It was Colorado's game to win was last game. That was one they had to have. And they outplayed Vegas, but Vegas found a way to win, finds a way to win, finds a way to win. Now they're home. They got all the energy from the crowd and all that kind of stuff like that. They got all the confidence in the world because they won the game that even I think they thought they weren't going to win, to tell you the honest truth. So I think this is going to be huge. I think Vegas takes it, and I get you, Mercer. It is an enormous accomplishment to beat the Avs 4 games in a row. Absolutely no doubt about it. But I just think they got their number now. They're just dialed in. They came back after Fleury made that mistake, and they don't lose that game. I just have a feeling they're not going to lose a game. If you don't lose that one, you probably don't lose any. Like, that's the one you think you're going to lose. We got, what, 4 people making picks here now. There's more people out there than that. Where are y'all? Where are y'all? Where's anybody? Hey, where's Joey Serrano? What the heck's going on with Joey Serrano? I haven't seen him in a long time. Is it? Vegas, Bill T's got Vegas 4-3-2. The 4-3 is the number. Everybody's got 4-3 Vegas. It's amazing that they have these high scores with these 2 great Vezina nominated goaltenders, but it just goes to show the offense on that. Serrano hasn't been in for a while. I haven't seen Serrano for a long time. Yeah, Serrano the legend. And Jacket. There's been a few guys. Maybe he's got a life or something. I don't know. All right, so we got the picks. I guess that's what we got. Anybody, we can just talk about anything now. What do you want to talk about? We got our picks in. Whoever comes in now can give us picks. I'll just write them all down. Yeah, he comes in every once in a while. I think a lot of it has to do with COVID is opening up now and people are going outside and, you know, they're not, they were in the chat a lot because of COVID. Now people are back. I guess school's not in right now, but they can go out and do stuff. So they're going out with their friends, all that kind of stuff like that. Will the Ottawa Senators make... I wouldn't put it past them. What Montreal is sort of like the Islanders right now. You just can't say no that they won't. Like, not like I did to begin with against Toronto. Like, oh no, there's no chance. There's tons of chance now. They've got a warrior mentality. As long as Price is playing at the top of his game, that, you know, he can just seem to just do in the playoffs whenever it comes up. Who knows? You gotta get, when you have a goaltender playing like that, you can go anywhere, any team. Look at who Dovin did for Dallas last year. That team on paper shouldn't have been there, really. They were outshot a lot, but the difference here in Montreal is Montreal's not getting outplayed. Like, it's not just Price here. That's the thing. They're playing just solid as a team all around. You can't even put it all up to Price. Yeah. If it's Tampa Bay, Montreal, that's who it's going to be, right? No, it's Montreal, Vegas. Montreal, Vegas if Vegas wins Colorado. I'm not going to sell them short, but I'm not going to sell Montreal short. I will likely lean one of those teams, like Vegas. If Vegas wins tonight, I'll probably be leaning Vegas because Vegas is similar to Montreal in the way they play. They have the same attributes. They have the same warriors like Stone and Pacioretty and Peter Angelo, and I mean their goaltender is absolutely fantastic. It'll be Montreal's biggest test by a long shot. I won't count them out, but I would definitely be leaning Vegas for sure. Yeah, I mean it would be crazy. It certainly wouldn't have been anything I would have predicted for sure. Montreal in the final wouldn't have been anything I predicted, that's for sure. I wonder if I can change this title all the time. Can I? Let's do something here. Let's see if I can change this title. Yeah, I'm going to change this title all the time so people see it and they go, I want to talk about that. I haven't seen him on Twitter either. He hasn't been on Twitter. He's also a Patreon member. He hasn't said boo on there, so I don't know what's going on in his life, but maybe he went on vacation or something. Yeah, it's hard to put them in there beating a team like that. It would be absolutely epic. Epic if they won that. Yeah, I got you 4-3 Vegas. It would be epic if Montreal beat Vegas, really. Like what they would have to do to win that series. Yeah, it would be insane. You think about this. They're doing all this with 2 centers under the age of 21. I'd like to know when the last time a team's top 2 centers were under the age of 21 years old. Maybe, or is that right? I better make sure that's not fake news. Oh, 3-2 Avs in double overtime for Hockey News Reports. Let's make sure that's not fake news. Montreal. I know Suzuki's about right there. Montreal Canadiens. Kotkaniemi is 20, yeah. Wow, he's only 20 years old. Holy crap, what's that guy going to turn out to be? And Suzuki's 21, yeah. Now, you could maybe make a case that Danault is in their top 2, I guess. So in that case, it's not. But they still have 2 centers very important to their team. 2 of the top 4 centers they have are 21 or under. To me, that is absolutely unbelievable that they're doing as well as they are with 2 centers that green. Caulfield's 20, yeah. But, CL, 5-4 Knights, okay. Yeah, if you're just coming in here, let me know who you think's going to win and what the score is going to be for the game tonight. But those guys are going to have amazing futures to be this good at that. At 21 years old, Suzuki, I don't know, what's his upside is beyond me, man. And Kotkaniemi is the future captain of this team. No doubt about it. Like, that guy has captain written all over him. The way he interacts with the other guys on the ice and everything, like, I think he's going to be the captain of this team. He looks like one of the better two-way players going to be one of the better two-way players in the game. Sort of like Mikko Koivu was for Minnesota back in the day. He reminds me a lot of him. Crazy good. It's like they're set. We have given Bergevin a lot of flack, but when you really look at this roster and what's going on, this team's could end up being pretty damn amazing. Yeah, the Koivu brothers, both brothers were fantastic. Saku. Habs versus Vegas. Well, like I said, okay. Well, looking on paper, the funny thing is Habs versus Vegas, that might be the one place where Montreal really is equal to the other team up the middle. Because Vegas is not really that strong up the middle, which is pretty incredible that they do as well as they do. They got William Karlsson, who, I mean, he's good. He's really good. I mean, but he's not a superstar. And then Chandler Stevenson, like what? It's amazing he's doing as well as he does. He really doesn't have the skill to be a top 2 center, but they play him there all the time. And besides that, it's just like a grab bag bunch of guys that they play up the middle. So up the middle, I would say Montreal actually takes them. On the wing, on the other hand, you got Stone, Marchessault, Riley Smith, Pacioretty, and of course you have that storyline, Pacioretty going back to Montreal now, and Alex Tuch. I'd say Vegas has him on the wings, but Montreal probably has him slightly. It's kind of a wash in goal, and then defense. I mean, it's kind of a wash too. It would be one hell of a series. Vegas was the best defensive team in the regular season, but I mean, Montreal is playing some fantastic defense. Montreal wears down their opposition with guys like Edmondson and what's his name there? Weber. And Sherrod. They got a big, solid, wear you down defense where Vegas isn't quite so much like that. Theodore, Pietrangelo, they do have Whitecloud and McNabb, but I would say Montreal's got them beat as far as a wear you down type defense. But on the other hand, I think Vegas has a wear you down type forwards on the defense, so it's quite the clash. Yeah, I'm not saying they can't. I will never say, I won't say that. Yeah, Glass is taking some time to be an NHLer. It has been a slow burn for Glass. He's playing in the AHL right now. I think he's going to be okay, but they're taking their time with him for sure. So, which is, I mean, nothing wrong with that. Not everybody can be Suzuki and Kokaniemi and just light it up in the NHL like right from the get-go. But Vegas was the best defensive team in the regular season. Montreal, you almost got to throw their regular season stuff right out the window because they're just a totally different team in the playoffs. They turned it on right in the playoffs and started playing with, and then you got the Corey Perry factor where he just turns the teams he plays on. I think Corey Perry could be a coach in the NHL one day. Like he's like having another coach on your team. Vegas PK is incredible. And their anticipation is like New York Islanders like. They are able to anticipate in the defensive zone and in the neutral zone almost like the New York Islanders. So Perry, well, he's going to have to learn French apparently. It seems to be that that's the case. Habs and Isles? Yeah, that would be weird. That would be very weird. Could happen, I suppose. Habs and Isles in the finals. Yeah, that's right. They had Suzuki. They traded Suzuki for Stone, right? Or did they trade him for Pacioretty? Did they trade him for Pacioretty? Not Stone. That was Ottawa. Yeah, they traded him for Pacioretty. Wow, that's something right there. That trade, Pacioretty's great, but down the road, that trade's not going to look too good. Suzuki's going to be still going, and Pacioretty's going to be an old man. But on the same note, Vegas probably isn't what they are without Pacioretty. So right now, it's probably a wash. It's probably bigger for Vegas to have Pacioretty right now than Montreal Suzuki. But in the long term, that trade's going to work out really well for Montreal by the looks of it. Yeah, it would be pretty crazy. If Montreal makes it, it would be pretty epic. Yeah. Yeah, most teams have their guys like that they have their players. Like the Oilers have a goaltender coming up right now that they swear up and down that's going to be like the second coming of any of the great guys out there. And maybe he is, I don't know. Most teams, not all teams though. There's some teams where there's nothing in the cupboard at all. San Jose Sharks, Pittsburgh Penguins. But then the Pittsburgh Penguins always end up finding somebody that you didn't think coming. And next thing you know, they're playing in their top 6 and they're scoring 30, 35 goals. So. Oh, Norlander. So they got Norlander back in a pick. I mean, I suppose they can. The Lightning repeat. It's just so tough. They took it easy this year in the regular season. It seems to have paid off. But when they did what they did with Kucherov having the surgery and everything, I mean, on paper, they are just freaking stacked. So you can't count them out for sure. I wouldn't say they're a shoo-in. They're going to have a really tough time against any one of the teams that are up there, because you'd have to think that they're going to burn out a little bit. Lightning versus Vegas, that would be a killer. Like I said, I don't know. I'm throwing it all out this year. It could be Montreal. There's so many teams like Montreal overachieving like they are. How do you say that they're not going to be there? But I mean, if Montreal happens to beat Vegas, then it would be, wouldn't it be Vegas versus Tampa? Oh no, what would it be? Yeah, how would that work? Okay, the Islanders, Tampa. Right. What are we waiting for? We're waiting for Vegas, Colorado to play Montreal. That would be the semifinals, yeah. That's the conference semifinals, yeah. Yeah, well, they were good. They won a lot of games on Vasilevsky's back, though. They really did. I watched them in the regular season. Vasilevsky was the reason why Tampa Bay did as well as they did. They had a lot of games where they were outshot a lot, and I was surprised they didn't play very well. It's going to be very difficult for the Leafs to make the playoffs next year. Boston will probably improve. Let's look at that. Why not? Divisions 2002. Remember, there's some things that are going to change in the division next year. Arizona is going to go to the Central next year. So you're going to have Arizona, Chicago, Colorado. Where's Seattle? Seattle's going to the Pacific. So, and then Boston, Buffalo, Detroit, Florida, Montreal, Ottawa, Tampa Bay, Toronto. So you got to figure Boston. I think Boston might miss next year. Toronto's a really good regular season team. Toronto, Tampa, Montreal, and then you got Florida, Boston, and watch out for Ottawa. Watch out for Ottawa next year. As early as next year, the talent on that team, they could possibly make it. I think there's a really good chance that Boston doesn't make it next year. That would be cray-cray. It's early. We got to see what happens in the offseason. But as it looks right now, I think it's pretty possible Boston doesn't even make it next year. They're never going to make the playoffs. I say that, watch you say that, and then they'll make it. Yeah, they're going to have a much tougher time in that division in the Central. My gosh, if you want to be a last place team, Central's a good place to do it. Well, they finished the season solid. They finished the season as one of the best records in the league, the Ottawa Senators. So I'm going to switch my title again. Yeah, it's a good time. You get Bedard, and then you got Savoy and Wright. Not a bad time to suck if you're going to suck. But that's going to be really interesting to see what Boston does now. I don't know what Michkov is all about. I mean, depends how much money his family has. Because if he's all right financially, he'll probably come over. It'd be better for his career long term. But if he needs the money, he might go to KHL and just get paid for a year or two there and then come over. So he makes a little bit of money for his family. That's pretty much you can't blame him for doing that. You can make a lot more in the KHL. So, but if his family's okay financially, he may just pop over early. It certainly would be better for him long term to come over and get acclimated to North America and all that kind of stuff like that. So I don't know how he is maturity-wise outside of hockey and all that kind of stuff like that. So it's hard to say really what he'll do. But I mean, those are two guys. Is Michkov going to be in the Bedard year? Is that 2023? Because if he is, yeah, you want to suck like crazy there. You want to suck like crazy. Which team do I think needs the most? Calgary, Buffalo. If they trade Eichel, Buffalo, Calgary, LA, but LA's probably going to be too good. That would be stupid. That would be ridiculous if the Oilers got Bedard. If the Oilers got Bedard, they'd almost have to trade him because there's no way they're going to be able to afford all those guys. they'd almost have to, or I don't know what they would do. That would be just ridiculous. And I bet they better not, because they can't suck anymore. If they get Bedard, they might not have McDavid. If they suck so bad that they're in a lottery pick 2 years from now, they might not even have McDavid. You might have a situation where that you have with Eichel, because that would be ridiculous. But, I mean, San Jose Sharks would need him absolutely huge. I think San Jose needs him the most. Yeah, you're not trading McDavid. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think there can be any more crash and burning, because McDavid will need a contract, and he could just say, you know what, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm out of here. If the Oilers suck for much longer, if they really suck, if they really crap the bed, then you're going to have another Eichel situation on your hands, and he's going to want to get the hell out of here. Yeah, I don't think Minnie's going to be that bad enough either to get that. Bedard and Rossi. Yeah, if anybody that doesn't know, Bedard is almost like a Crosby clone. So we're talking about a guy that is, generational talent. He's insane. Maybe even like McKinnon, any one of those guys. He's going to be up for the 2023 draft and 22-23 draft, right? No, 21-22. 20, or is it 23-24? Well, it's already been a couple of years. I mean, they've had him for a few years now. You can't suck that bad all the time. I'm going to change my title again. Oh, if the Pens tank that bad, though, I don't think they're going to tank that. You never know. My gosh, that would be crazy. I think San Jose, but you asked me who do you think needs them more than anybody? I'd say the San Jose Sharks, because that team needs something, because I don't know what they're going to do. They need a superstar in there right away to make them relevant and have all those veterans work or something like that. Like San Jose Sharks to me are the team that needs them more than anybody else out there. Wings would be huge. That would probably end the rebuild there if they got a Bedard. Wings have got to really start getting better now. It's getting a little too long to be bottom of the league. I don't know. I think they really got to start getting better there. They're going to start fans are going to start losing interest in Detroit, I think, pretty soon if they don't get better there. Depends how much Palmieri's going to make. I mean, if he signs with the Oilers, can the Oilers sign Nugent Hopkins? Palmieri, that is? I'm not sure. How about buyout candidates. Who do you think's going to get bought out? Actually, they do that on Cap Friendly. Popular buyouts. They on popular buyouts, they have Jeff Skinner. Like, they're gonna buy out Jeff Skinner? I don't think so. Bobrovsky, D'Angelo, yeah. Do you think D'Angelo's gonna go anywhere? Do you think D'Angelo will end up anywhere at all? What? Disabled? What are you talking about? Why? Do you think D'Angelo will end up anywhere? I think somebody's going to take him. I think they're going to wait for it to go over. There's going to be some team out there. I don't know what he did, though. Yeah, I imagine they will talk to them, but Habs wanted him? Really? Yeah, I don't know what he did, but it's obviously pretty freaking catastrophic, whatever he did, because nobody wanted to touch him. He's a 50 to 60 point defenseman. Yeah, he's not strong defensively, but I don't know what he did, but he obviously did something catastrophic. So Montreal said they were thinking about him, right? Wow. They're probably gonna end up buying him. Maybe Seattle gives him a shot. Maybe, I don't know. It's a very liberal city, so that's the thing. He was also big on social media, talking about the right wing politics and stuff like that. If he was a free agent, the Habs would have signed him, really. Yeah, but I mean, teams are always looking for offensive defensemen. I know that you really need to be good defensively, and he's not great. Hey, Maestro, you think Eichel will end up in an LA King? Kings are known to make blockbuster trades. With that, I did a video on that, and LA was right up there on the list. And we have been talking about that. Oh, Eichel to the Kraken. Wow. That would be interesting. Eichel to the Kraken. That would be very interesting. I don't think Boston's a place, but I like the LA one. So if we go LA, now the whole talk we were talking about already is that if Eichel goes to LA, that they're talking now that I thought that they would wait till he gets his surgery and that he's feeling better, but apparently that's not the case. What's his name? And he's usually pretty reliable. He's the dawn of all this stuff. Elliot Friedman says that he thinks they're going to trade him before the surgery, like right away. So, which player? Chicago would consider Eichel. They already got Kirby Dach, though. I don't know, and they're not trading Kirby Dach in that deal. I don't think. Oh, Vegas puck line. Wow. It's going to thrash them. Four games in a row and a thrashing there, Elliot. That's pretty cool. I think he goes to, if he does go to LA, I don't know where his value is going to be at now if they're going to trade him before the injury. they're going to have to, I would have to imagine their doctors are going to have to talk to Eichel's doctors, and they got to both be like on board that he's going to be okay coming back. That'll be one of the most interesting trades ever, to see how many people are lining up for a guy. How many times does it happen that a guy's going to go for surgery and they get traded before the surgery? He's either going to Boston or retire, probably, Elliot. I brought that up on the boards there on Facebook, and you guys can all check me out on Facebook. Just search Perlo Wisdom. I'm on there. You can go part of my group. And they were like, no way, we don't want Eichel, nothing like that, blah, 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 blah. One guy said he would not trade Norris straight up for Eichel. He wouldn't trade Norris straight up for Eichel because of all the room stuff and the way he gets along with Tkachuk and all that kind of stuff like that. They wouldn't trade Norris straight up for Eichel. Like, I didn't hear one person on the Ottawa Senators boards that would take Eichel. You might not have an opportunity to do that. If they would have started Swayman, maybe they won, yeah. Why? Well, you disagree with what, Mercer? The New York Rangers interested in Eichel. I thought that was possible, but like it really depends on what they're asking for. I'm sure they would be like Buchnevich, Strome, and they got one really solid. They're not going to give up Schneider in that deal, the one that. Who says Nelson's overrated? Nelson, I'd say he's rated about right what he is, but. Oh, the Eichel Norris thing. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the thing. But I mean, that's the kind of stuff I'm hearing when you go to trade him somewhere. People are like, they think he's a problem in the room and he's a cancer and all this kind of stuff like that. All right, thanks for coming in, H&R. Always awesome having you in. I looked at Detroit and I said, what about Larkin plus? And Detroit's like, no, the Detroit people are like, we're not going to trade. Well, they think that he's a problem in the room. They think he's a cancer in the room, Eichel. And then the injury, but apparently his doctors say that he will not have any problems. If he gets the injury, they won't have any problems. And Buffalo is saying that nobody gets in surgery for an injury like that. And their doctors are saying, yeah, but this is modern surgery that won't be too difficult on him, and he'll be fine. So, I could. Corrali? Possibly. Yeah, I mean, look at O'Reilly. I just look at O'Reilly. They traded O'Reilly like he was some sort of cancer in the room. Next year he goes off and wins a cup with St. Louis. So I'm pretty much not gonna trust the Buffalo Sabres on who they're trading and not trading. He's a generational player, and if he's gonna be okay, I would definitely have my hat in the ring to try to pick up an Eichel. And I think there's going to be a lot of teams in there. Minnesota's probably going to be. Chicago's. At least they're going to be on the phone. I don't know if they're going to be in the conversation in the end, but I agree with whoever said LA seems like the best fit. No doubt about that. But if LA thinks Byfield is going to be as good, they may not even bother. Especially if they have to trade Byfield to get him. It's possible. Yeah, I don't know. The Adams is like, just imagine it's your first time ever as a general manager in the league, and you come into this, and you got to trade Eichel. Like, wow, that is. You got to trade Eichel, who is injured and needs to go for surgery, and you're having an argument with them. Sam, that I don't know. We'll see. He basically said, I can't really talk about that right now. He's pretty disappointed after not making the playoffs and all of that. I don't know if they got to trade Reinhart and Eichel. I mean, you're looking at a tear down, rebuild all over again. I don't think Buffalo can do that. I think they really have to get some players for now that are young. If Reinhart is out, I'm sure the Columbus Blue Jackets will be lining up for that. All the teams mentioned, actually, the same teams that want Eichel will probably be in on Reinhart. Anybody who needs a center, like, you probably would get a mittful for Reinhart because he looked really good in the second half after they fired the coach. He looked really good. But you could go down the list like Anaheim, maybe not Vancouver. St. Louis Blues would probably be interested. Penguins, but I don't know how they would make that work. Probably not. Maybe the Bruins let Krejci walk, and they're interested in a younger guy like that, since it appears they're really trying to get younger and do sort of a retool. Calgary Flames would be interested. San Jose, if they could figure out a way to do it. Columbus, New York, Detroit. So many teams would be in line for that, for sure. Reinhart wants to play in the West, really. Well, there's lots of teams in the West he could play for. Where is he from? Sam Reinhart. Maybe it's because he's from the West. I think he's from Toronto, isn't he? Oh, he's from Vancouver. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know if Vancouver would. I don't think Vancouver would be in the mix there unless he wanted to play wing. If he wanted to play wing, it's possible. They could let Sutter go. They could do something. Yeah, never know. You never know with Vancouver too. They go after. He's from Vancouver. Yeah. You never know. Vancouver might do something like that. I don't think they want to. They're gonna put Horvat in that deal. If I'm Buffalo, I'm looking at Horvat in that deal. Bjorkstrand, like Jones and their first rounder, that's probably what it would take, yeah. Bjorkstrand, Jones, and their first rounder, that's probably what it would take. Their first rounder this year, Jones. That would give Buffalo 2 first rounders in this year's draft. What are they picking this year? 4th or 5th or something? Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't want Halak now. I think he's done. I think he's done. What was I looking at? I was looking at where Columbus, right? They're picking fifth. So that would be Eichel. I'd say Dylan Gunther would be right around there. That makes sense. For Eichel, yeah. Jones is already walking anyway, so you're not going to get much for him. They would have to talk to Jones' agent and see if he would sign there, though. That could be the clincher that pooches that deal. If he's not willing to sign in Buffalo long term, you probably don't want to do that deal because you're only going to get him for a year, and that's not very good. So that deal would probably be off the table then. Yeah, I can, but the thing about Holtby is I'm not sure I like him as a goaltender. That's like he's not really great with young players. He doesn't seem to be very good with young players. Breaking news for Flames fans. Eichel to Calgary. For Monahan, I wouldn't want Monahan, but you never know. Goudreau, maybe Goudreau. Monahan and Goudreau and a first-round pick. That would be a terrible trade for Eichel. Monahan has been terrible. Unless he changes unless he somehow changes when he's Kirk Muller and Cal McLean as assistant coaches. Kirk Muller. That's Kirk Muller's assistant coach. So that means Sutter is staying there. Pretty good picks. Muller does not have the best power play. Okay, maybe. Hey, Brian Watson, how you doing? I'm going to stay on a little later here because this is fun. Brian, we're talking about Eichel trade there. We'll see what Sutter does there. Muller was a defensive forward. Sutter, it's going to be defense, defense, defense. They're going to go out and they're going to try to get like the Felinos, and they're going to trade Goudreau for sure. Goudreau is gone, gone, gone. Where does Goudreau go? Like I said, I think they're going to. You got 2 minutes and you got to go? Okay. I got a little bit of extra time. Actually, maybe not. Yeah, I mean, what happens in Calgary will probably just be disappointing. That's all I know, because they just do really disappointing things. Calgary is not a playoff team. They should be rebuilding. The core is probably going to change. I don't see how they're getting much. Monahan to Seattle makes sense to me because Monahan's played poorly. Seattle might want to give a guy like that a shot, and they could try him. Monahan to Seattle. I could see Calgary going after Eichel because Eichel is a guy that they would absolutely love to have. Like, that's a Calgary type guy. I could see them going after Eichel for sure. Seth Jones, yeah, I mean, Seth Jones has really played bad for 2 years. So, and Vancouver loves bad defensemen, so you could very well be right. But he's played really bad. They really got to turn the guy around. I don't know what they give up for Seth Jones, not to mention the cap problems that they have. Until they get that god-awful Eriksson contract off their hands. They got so many bad contracts they got to get rid of there. Mike Babcock. Yeah, I mean, who knows? You never know. I think he would do it. I think Babcock would do it. That would be a challenge that Mike Babcock would love to try to do. What would that deal look like? I think Gaudreau would have to be part of that deal. And if you see, here's what I was going to say about Reinhart. Reinhart may not get a better chance to be a number one center than if he stays in Buffalo. And then you make that deal, you go Gaudreau who? Gaudreau who? That's the thing. What does Calgary have? Gaudreau, they're first this year. They don't have much for prospects. Who else? Backstrom? Like, I don't know if they can do a package that's going to challenge the LA Kings and stuff like that. Short of like adding that one defenseman that they have there. They're not going to, it would have to be young players. They're not going to trade older players. Gaudreau isn't old, so. I think Claude, if he wants to, will find a job somewhere. I don't think Granato's going to go anywhere or should go anywhere either, but apparently they're looking for a coach. I don't know. Oh, wait, Granato. Who are you talking about, Granato? They have a Granato too? Oh, you're talking about their coach now. Yeah, he's not going anywhere. I never understood why Buffalo's looking for a coach. I thought Granato in Buffalo did really well. Like, I didn't understand why they were looking for a coach to begin with. But I don't see, I'll look up Calgary here. I don't see Calgary being able to be competitive in the Eichel talks, although I think they'd want to be in there because that's just what something Calgary would do. They would have to give their first rounder up this year, which is like 10th or something like that. Or like not, and then Johnny Gaudreau, who's 27, they'd have to work out a contract for Gaudreau. They might be able to do that there because he's closer to home. You never know. But besides that, are you going to give up Elias Lindholm too? I don't think so. Maybe Dylan Dubé. Now you got a whole bunch of little guys, and I don't see this working out. Juuso Valimaki, that would have to be part of that deal. Gaudreau, Valimaki, your first. And I don't know, hopefully they like some of your prospects. Connor Zary, like you'd have to give up to half their team, but they would do something like that probably. But even if they do all that, I don't even think they're in. Tippett's not going anywhere. I would love Rick Tocchet in Edmonton, but Tippett's not going anywhere. No way. There's no way he's going anywhere, so there's no use even bringing it up. Oh, what did I hear today? I heard Larson. Who was it? Again, on Pro Hockey Rumors. Columbus looks like they're going to go with their assistant coach, Brad Larson. Looks like they're going to go with Brad Larson, which was an assistant coach for them, instead of going outside of the organization. So, Peyton hates Tippett. Peyton hates Tippett with a passion. Yeah, he can't stand Tippett. Yeah, they looks like they're going with Brad Larson. So Tocchet, I think Tocchett's going to end up in Seattle. It just feels like Francis Tocchet is like a perfect combination. Francis was one of the best defensive centers to ever play the game. I don't know. It just seems like a perfect combination. You were hoping for them to go for. Apparently, Buffalo's looking at another European coach again too. They're going to try their hand in Europe again. Didn't work out the first time, but I don't know. And that might be because Buffalo needs to do a quick rebuild. And if they bring over a European coach, they might be able to bring in over more European, like, those European free agent players out there that did really well late in, and weren't drafted, or they might be able to bring up some guys like that because they like to play with a European coach. That's possible. If I am Tocchet, would I take the Rangers or the Kraken? I would probably take that's tough. I mean, with the Rangers, you got a team that's already ready-made, right? And I would probably go the Rangers. It would depend on if you like the idea of being in a big city or not, which he played in Philadelphia for a long time. So I think maybe that is where he goes because he is from that, that area would be good for him. I still think the Rangers go with bring Tortorella back. We'll see. I don't think so, but who knows? Nobody saw Seattle coming either. Looking at what they have to choose from and all that kind of stuff like that, I'm not sure. I'm not. I don't know if it matters now because it's so late that the coach really isn't going to be able to put too much of a input into it anyways. So Isles in 4K Swiss. Oh my gosh. Isles in 4. Wow. Okay, tomorrow we'll do our series picks. Tomorrow we'll do our series picks. So you come back, K-Swiss. I'm trying to get one more playback, and then I'm going to call her a day here. I think, I'm not sure. I heard that they were going to go 4-4. They could almost go 4 skaters and four forwards and 4 defensemen and keep Dumba and not give up too much. But we'll see. I'd have to look at that. We're going to have to do some expansion stuff coming up here too, for sure. No doubt about it. We'll have to do some expansion stuff. But Eichel to Calgary is a very interesting move. Eichel to Calgary it's something that I could see them doing. But I still think they can't beat out LA. Nick Paul, yeah. Yeah, that would be a good move by Seattle. Nick Paul's on the youngish side. I think with Ron Francis there, the likelihood is that I wonder if I should start putting a background. Let me try this. I wonder if I should start putting a background up. No, I can't. I can't do that. Never mind. Yeah, it's probably not a bad idea. I think with Ron Francis there, I think they're not going to be going like Vegas. I think they're going to be more going towards building a team for the long term. It's what he did to Carolina. He's very patient. He's a very patient person. He was a very patient player. He's a very patient general manager. So if you're hiring them, you're basically kind of giving the indication that you're going to be patient and you're going to build a team. And I think they're going to want to build a team for the long term. So I think they're going to go the classic route, and they're going to probably get younger players, build a team through the draft, all that kind of stuff that sounds really boring, but maybe the best way. It's going to be really interesting to see what Vegas is in a couple years after this. Yeah, maybe. The Lightning seem to be able to get a lot of. If you want me to take Tyler Johnson, did they trade their first already? They did. I want your first, or I want something significant if I take Tyler Johnson. Like I want Joseph. I want Joseph and Johnson. I want a good young player that can play now, like Joseph or something like that. And then I'll take Tyler Johnson off your hands. So maybe we'll do that tomorrow. I'll be Seattle and you offer trades. Wow. 2022 first, Joseph and Finley. Wow. To take Johnson off their hands? Why not? Go right out and say, forget it. I don't want Johnson then. Too bad. Don't like it? Too bad. You keep Johnson. They got a lot of leverage. You want to get that much cap room off your hands? Then first Joseph and Finley. Why not? Don't like it? Okay, bye-bye. I don't want him. That's all you got to do, right? You got to play hardball. That's what Vegas did, and that's what Seattle's going to have to do too. I don't know if they'll get. I don't know. They're gonna take the teams that give them the best numbers for sure. They spent a lot of money, so they'll be doing the teams that get the best numbers. I wonder if they're gonna do like almost all the games like we do on Sportsnet here in Canada. That'll be interesting to see. Yeah. Okay, guys, I gotta get going now. That was fun. I went a little longer today because I felt like it. See you guys tomorrow, same time, same place. Come on in. We'll talk. Maybe we'll do some. Take your team. Yeah, we went a little long today. Tell me tomorrow your Seattle offers. We'll do that tomorrow, first thing. Seattle offers, and we'll talk about the games and stuff like that. So your team, or it doesn't have to be your team, whatever you want. Everybody, I got to get going. That's my full 42. See you tomorrow between 3 and 5. I'll be on a live stream tonight at 6 with the GOAT. Have a great day. Lots of love to you. Okay, bye.